Hey again, folks. Okay, so this video is going to talk about the H-give. We're going to talk about the first 5 chapters because, well, that's all you had to read. So, it does eerily reflect or mirror some things that are going on in the world today. Sorry, I don't know what our neighbors are doing, but their car is like beeping. There's alarms going off. I don't know what the hell's happening. I don't care. I mean, I kind of care because it's annoying and like bothering me. But anyway, I want to make this quick, way quicker than the MLA video. So let's jump right into it, okay? So in chapter 1, we are introduced to our main character, Star Carter, Star with 2 R's, okay? So Star Carter, she has her brother, 7, and she also has a little brother, but we haven't met him yet. I believe we meet him in the next chapter. Anyway, so Star is saying, I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't even be here, okay? She's going to a party with her friend, Kenya, okay? So her and her friend are at this party. They're not, she really shouldn't be there, but Kenya kind of made fun of her for acting stuck up and hanging with her white friends from Williamson because she goes to a prep school outside of their city. So anyway, okay, sorry, I digress. Oh my gosh, what's I gonna say? So they're at this party, things are going great. Star bumps into her childhood friend Khalil, okay, and she and Khalil start talking, and they're reminiscing about when they were kids. And Kenya comes up and says that she is gonna beat this girl Denacia's butt because Denacia is flirting with her man, and how dare she hold my hoops. This happens in the movie, okay, and words that I suddenly can't think of. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Anyway, I'm sorry. So Kenya and Denacia go off to have their fight. Star kind of just is like, I ain't getting involved. And then suddenly there's gunshots that go out, and Khalil and Star run to Khalil's car. Star can't find Kenya and says, screw it, texts her to tell her, like, I'm okay. Are you okay? Where are you? And Khalil says that he'll drive Star home. Okay, so while they're in the car, they're listening to Thug Life by Tupac. And ironically, this is where the name comes from of the book. Ouch, Ginger. Okay, so they go into this in-depth discussion about what does Thug Life mean, and it stands for the hate you give little infants, F's everyone. Okay, so obviously the hate you give is the title of our book. And then life would be little infants, F's everyone. Okay, so this will come full circle at the end, especially if you watched the movie. Excuse me. So anyway, as this is happening, Star starts asking some questions about like where he's getting money from for his new shoes and things like that. Like, how did you buy this car? And she realizes that Khalil is dealing drugs. Khalil tells her, like, mind your business. And she's like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, you're just part of this vicious circle that's going on. So anyway, they move on. We go on to chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2 opens with Star reminiscing about a lecture that her father Maverick, Big Mav, gave her about what you do if the cops, like come after, I don't want to say come after you, but I guess like if they pull you over, or how you should act around them, okay? And that the contrast is that Lisa, her mom, gave her a sex talk, okay? So anyway, so they go over like the keep your hands visible, don't talk back, okay? So there's some other steps that she goes over as well. Khalil pulls the car over because there's a cop that signals to them to pull over. So he says, okay. So he put the whole time Star is telling him, like, put your hands on the wheel, Khalil, like you need to be doing these things. And Khalil's like, yeah, screw this shit. So anyway, she remembers the cop's badge number, which is 115. And that's how he's going to be referred to from this point on. Okay. 115 asks like where they're coming from and where they're going. And Khalil tells him, like, it's really none of your business where I'm going. And Star is having this internal panic attack because she is realizing that Khalil did not get the same lecture as she did as a child. So 115 tells Khalil that his taillight's broken. Khalil complains about it. 115 asks him to get out of the car to search Khalil, presumably for, drugs. He finds nothing. He looks back at the car. He finds nothing. He tells Khalil to keep his hands on the roof. Now, there's obviously a reason that he does this. And there's a reason that Khalil does not follow this rule. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a book. So as 115 walks away, Khalil opens the door to get his hairbrush, okay, and to check on Star, okay? And as soon as that happens, 115 shoots Khalil, because all that 115 sees is him going for an object inside of the car. He doesn't pay attention to what the object is. He just sees it, and so he shoots. Okay, then we go into chapter 3, okay, because now at this point, Star is panicking and she wants to go see Khalil, like he's, now he's dying on the street, but 115 is pointing the gun at her to stay still, don't move, because, now he's afraid because he just shot a kid, and whatever. So much is going on. So this brings a flashback to Star about when she was playing in the street with Khalil and her friend Natasha, and Natasha got caught in the crossfire of some gang activity and got killed. Anyway, so now we go then to the next morning. They don't make Star go to school because they're just like, we don't really know what to tell you. She continues to emphasize, though, that Khalil was unarmed and that he was reaching for his brush. He wasn't reaching for a gun, and he was just checking on me to make sure I was okay. They decide to keep this a secret because now the little brother, Sakani, that's his name, sorry, comes out, and he was just like, what's going on? Because he's really little. And so they're like, we're not going to talk about this. She doesn't really know yet how to speak up. She knows that she wants to talk about this that just happened, this now police brutality against Khalil. She thinks about the similarity between her life and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which happens to be her favorite show. It's a great show. So she thinks about how, it was the gang violence that led Lisa, Star's mom, to enroll her and her siblings into Williamson, just like how Will got moved out to Bel-Air after some trouble. But Star has to be two different Stars, and she talks about this a lot. She has to be Williamson Star and Garden Heights Star, and she has a very hard time, merging them together. She feels like she has to have two completely different identities. She has to have, Williamson Star, which is White Star, and then Garden Heights Star, where she can kind of be herself. She can't, she has to properly enunciate her words at Williamson, whereas in Garden Heights, everybody talks kind of in slang. Okay, so things like that. So anyway, there's also the discussion of how Seven, Star's older brother, his mother, Aisha, has allowed King, who is the drug lord of the neighborhood, to live with her. Okay. Now, Aisha is Seven's mom, just so we know. Okay. Lisa is not Seven's mom. And so anyway, so Star goes, it's just a passing moment in the text. Anyway, Star goes with her dad, Big Mav, to open his family convenience store, okay, and helps, some people. They go to, oh my goodness, I don't even know. Give me a second, just bear with me. Mr. Lewis, who's across the street from the convenience store, is the barber, and he starts to have a discussion with Maverick, Big Mav, about the picture of Martin Luther King and Huey Newton, who was the founder of Black Panther Party. Black Panther Party is very important in this text, okay? And he says it's Khalil's own fault for getting shot. He dealt drugs, like, it is what it is. And then other people are saying that it wasn't his fault, that this was police brutality. So Mrs. Rooks asks Big Mav to help Rosalie, Khalil's grandma, pay for Khalil's funeral because Khalil's mom is a drug addict. And so she had a lot of debt. And we will find out later that that is the reason that Khalil started to deal drugs, was to try to erase his mom's debt. Maverick jokes with her about how, you know, Star isn't allowed to date until she's 40, and Star has an inner thought like, oh, I can never let you meet my boyfriend because he's, you know, his name is Chris and he's white. So carrying on now to chapter 4. Okay, I know this is so fun, guys, right? Right before chapter 4 starts, King shows up, and King happens to be Kenya's dad. Okay. King shows up and offers money to Star. Star says no, and then asks Big Mav to get in the car and hold some drugs for him. And Big Mav says, no, we're done. Like, our ties are cut. So that insinuates that he used to run with King. But Big Mav reminds him, like, I went to jail for you so that you could stay home. So we're done. Like, our business is done. I don't work for you. Like, we done. Okay, this is a big part that comes in because there's a lot of tension between the two of them. Okay, in chapter 4, we start off with Star having a nightmare about Khalil and Natasha. Her dad tries very hard to comfort her in his own unique way about how, you know, the beginnings and the nightmares are always the worst, because obviously he's been involved in a few things if he's gone to jail. He's very worried that the police are going to ask her to testify. And Uncle Carlos, Lisa's brother, says that the shooting wasn't about race. It was because 115 felt threatened. Now, Uncle Carlos is Lisa's brother, and he is a cop that worked with 115. So he's kind of caught in between, you know, a rock and a hard place with this. So he sees why, and he understands why 115 shot Khalil, but he also understands, you know, the racial side of it, of how it looks. Okay, so the parents discuss moving out of Garden Heights, and Big Mav says, no, we can't do that. And Lisa tries to tell him, you know, like, our daughter has lost 2 friends here to gun violence. Okay, so anyway, Uncle Carlos tells Big Mav and Lisa that he will help protect Star as best he can. Anyway, Uncle Carlos asks Star to talk to the police, and she says, you know, as long as I don't have to see 115, I'll do it. And so they agree. They go, you know, they go off. Let's see. There's a discussion about why Star is named Star, because she is the light in Big Mav's life. Sorry. They go to Rosalie's house, Khalil's grandma, to pay their respects. And Star becomes very furious because it's confirmed that he was dealing drugs to get money, but obviously she can't really do anything about that now. You know, he's dead, unfortunately. And she starts to think about how the death of, you know, Black people become hashtags. And she doesn't really want him to just be a hashtag. So the social media movement will also play a big role in this text. She knows that even though he might have been dealing drugs, Khalil was very loved, and that Khalil was more than what he was doing. So anyway, we carry on to chapter 5. Okay, chapter 5. So Lisa brings Star and Sakani to school. Okay, she also Seven was probably staying at his mom's house, Aisha, and says, if you need to come home, just call me. Excuse me. She meets up with her friends, Haley and Maya. Okay, they talk about spring break. Haley complains in true basic white girl fashion that she had a trip to the Bahamas, and she said that it's overrated and she's tired of going there. And Star is like, yeah, sounds awful. Maya jokes that they spent the vacation texting one another. Haley's been distant towards Star ever since, you know, Haley started to unfollow her on Tumblr, whatever that is, because Star started to post more about like Emmett Till and all of these other fallen Black people that have become hashtags. Okay, so Emmett Till was a big deal, but that's, you know, that's something that you need to read into on your own. Anyway, so she has this, I don't know, kind of like emotional moment when she sees her boyfriend. It's the first time that we really get to be introduced to her boyfriend, Chris. She remembers how, you know, she's mad at him because when they were making out, you know, like teenagers do, he pulled out a condom, and she was very mad at him for this because she was not ready for sex. And she, I guess, thought that Chris thought she was. And he was just like, well, you know, I just want you to know I'm prepared should you change your mind. But, you know, like, no pressure, homie, no pressure. Chris tries to be funny if you've watched the movie. Anyway, so then he tries to lighten the mood by rapping their favorite show, Fresh Prince. She sees this. Star gets a little dramatic. I will say that. She's a little dramatic because Chris tries to grab her hand just to hold her hand, and she flinches because she suddenly realizes that Chris is also white, and so was 115. Now, that is, to me, that is all that they have in common, is that they are the same skin color. But they are not the same. Chris, number one, is a student, not a cop. Let's just go there. Okay, so she cries. Chris tries to apologize, but we have to keep in mind that now she's trying to keep this a secret. She does not want her Williamson friends to know that that was her friend. And I think that her keeping these secrets is part of her problem. You know, she's trying to almost protect her Garden Heights self. And she gives her Williamson people a completely different version of herself. And it gets her into trouble because she can't seem to figure out where the line is to draw. Let's see. I think that's about it. Lisa picks up Star from school and brings her back to the clinic that she works at because Lisa's a nurse. Brenda, Khalil's mom, comes in and she's crying about Khalil. Lisa tells Brenda she has to get treatment for her drug addiction and tells Star to get her like a plate of food. And Star's angry that she shouldn't get to be upset. Brenda shouldn't be upset because she wasn't a good mom to Khalil. She, you know, she kind of abandoned him to go do drugs. And Lisa yells at her and says, it doesn't matter what she did. She still is the mother of that child that died. So, you know, her tail between her legs, she goes and gets a plate of food. I think that's about it. That should be the highlight salient points of chapters 1 through 5. It is a good read. You should really be reading. You guys are going to read chapters 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Okay, and I think that's about it. I will let you guys go. I hope this is a little shorter than the MLA video. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.